No, indeed. I need to turn up. Come on. You need to sing.
I know how it feels.
You sort of click on it and it goes,
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit daft, but there you go. You're in your conservatory again.
I am, and it's very sunny, so I apologise if I go squinty.
Well, lucky you to be sunny, because
it is today. It is windy. I'm watching all the plants in the garden going like that, but it is sunny.
No, we haven't got
definite autumn chill in the air.
And it was really scenting like it this morning when I went out to feed the birds and that. It was really scented.
Yeah.
And yesterday, don't know whether you saw my post, quite early on, I heard the geese fly over, the wild geese.
Oh, okay.
And then I realised, well, I'd heard it for several days, and I thought, well, I will mention it as well, that the robins are out singing their winter song.
Right.
And then later on, mid-morning, all of our swallows started swooping.
Right.
And so I thought, well, they're still there because, well, they were still there yesterday afternoon because I was out in the garden. I was watching them and they were still feeding. But it won't be long.
No. The signs are all there, aren't they?
And it's really misty this morning. So, you know. How many more signs do you want? But yes, and it's still August.
Yeah, I know it's all a bit topsy-turvy, isn't it?
Well, it's not like what we was used to at all.
No, but there's change for you. Not good change, but there you go.
Well, it's change we can't do anything about, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we've done the damage.
That's it. I mean, 50 years ago, we could probably have slowed things down, maybe, nothing quite so bad. But I mean, you heard about it raining on Greenland.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're just firefighting now, aren't we? We've done,
Yeah.
We've done the damage. There's not a lot we can do now.
Well, the only thing we can do is to not make it any worse if we can manage that.
Yeah.
And start learning what we can actually do to live with it and to help things.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's going to be so difficult for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just don't. Oh, but I can't give up my wet wipes, for instance. I'm sorry to get.
Yeah, no, I used loads of wet wipes when my children were small. I am totally guilty, but that was quite a few years ago now. You didn't think about it then.
Well, you didn't. People didn't know, or at least most people didn't know. And if you lived in a town, you wouldn't know. If you lived out where I do, where we've got septic tank and not modern drainage, know.
Made the connection. Yeah.
Well, when it starts flooding all over your yard, you suddenly realize, I did that. The people who were here before me had done it. And we've been here about a week, 10 days, and we don't use things like that. So I was looking out the bathroom window, cleaning my teeth one morning, and there's one of the sumps is out in the yard, just in front of the kitchen door, and it was bubbling and popping. The lid was popping, and it was like, finish teeth quickly, get on the phone. And when the guys came to clear it and deal with it, they didn't think anybody'd dealt with this, had the septic tank cleaned out for about 4 years.
Right.
which is a bit long. I mean, 80, well, it depends how many people there are, but for a family of 4, you should be doing it every year. And also, it was absolutely all the pipes from the various places were bunged up with wet wipes.
Oh, right. So you shouldn't be throwing them down the toilet anyway.
Well, you shouldn't.
That's a no-brainer for,
Well, they'll deal with it.
Yeah, someone else's problem. That is the problem, isn't it?
That is the problem, isn't it?
Let's not take responsibility for anything. Let's just assume someone else will sort it out.
Yeah, well, they should deal with it, and this sort of thing. I mean, my other big beef, I've probably said it before, is I go for a walk, particularly in the woods, but it can be anywhere. And I mean, on tree branches, there are the black dog poo bags.
Yeah. Why do people hang them? I mean, why do people not take them home for a start? But why do they hang them on tree branches? It is a thing, isn't it? It beggars belief, really.
Well, I suppose they think the council or somebody has got somebody who comes down every bloody woodland wild path collecting dog shit.
It's mad. It is mad. I mean, we do obviously have dog poo bags. We do buy the biodegradable ones. So I mean, even if they were on the ground, I assume they would degrade a whole lot better. But hanging in a tree, it's
and they're probably the cheapest sort, which are probably not biodegradable.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, the other thing is, I mean, I understand why you need it in a town, or maybe why you need it in a park, but this is one of our wonderful. We're going to have a wonderful morning, people. We are going to get off the subject a minute. But any kind of shit on the ground will be gone in 2 days at the very most, and most likely 1. Because it's actually, and this is, hope nobody's actually having their breakfast still. It's actually food for a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah, like really? In the city, you do need to pick it up in the city. I've so many times the kids came home from school where they'd trodden in it because it had been on the path, which is gross. But yeah, and I think in more common walk places, not on the pathway. Clear it off of the pathway because you don't want to be stepping in it. But yeah, out in the wilds, it's a different scenario, isn't it?
I mean, does somebody go around after all the sheep, picking it up and putting it in bags?
You'd be there a long time.
Really? No, actually, no. Mother Earth did actually sort of get this right at the beginning when she invented sheep or whatever. And sort of said, right, we can deal with this, and it's actually going to be good for the ground, and it'll improve, it'll keep everything going and be food for the beetles and all this sort of thing. You sort of go, and we think we've got better idea. I totally agree about in towns. I mean, we
don't want to be stepping in it.
Well, it got bad. Must be 30 years ago 35 years ago in London, in our street. And, we lived in Balham, so right in the middle of everything, And your morning walk to the tube would be tiptoe through the dog turds. Da 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 da.
We used to do that on the school run. Yep. Oh, mind.
I know. And it was. And people just didn't care. I mean, they wouldn't even take the dog to the gutter, the pavement gutter or anything. The dog would just stop and the person would stop and there would be a pile of it in the pavement. But, I mean, that's when, things started to get bad and people did sort of say, look, you've got to pick this up and deal with it. But, no, I mean, I can see it in parks and in walks that get very heavily used by dog walkers.
Yeah, you don't want it on the pathways, do you? But
but it would work if you actually just brushed it into the side. and under the bracken or in the grass or something like that. And then lots of other things would actually have some more food.
It was autumn when we used to do the school runs in the autumn. Don't run through the piles of leaves. No, don't do that. Don't kick through the piles of, oh, too late.
Which is seriously bad, because it's still one of my favourite pastimes. If I go out in the forest,
and you don't really want to stop your children from doing it, but when they've done it at least once and you've had to wipe it all off their shoes, it's you're wary.
Yeah, quite. But I mean, that's just there's too many dogs because there's too many people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've infested the planet, really, haven't we?
Well, you probably know. I don't know whether everybody else knows. Some people do. About the time when I was born, 1950-ish, there were 2.5 billion people on planet Earth. Now there are 7.8.
That's quite a leap, isn't it?
Just a bit. 3 times, over 3 times. I mean, David Attenborough said this as well, but it's been sort of a thing that I got scared when I sort of really got there with it was going to be 6 billion in 2000. And there were celebrations, 6 billionth person, la la la. You think, oh heck. And it is that. And then the awful things that happened over lockdown, and we've all seen it. And Fiona's actually done one of the rescues. Is oh, we're bored. The kids are bored. We'll get a puppy.
Oh yeah. And then when
oh, kids are back at school. We're bored, right? Don't want the puppy.
Dealing with the puppy is it's like having a child. I think you forget how hard. I forgot how hard it was. I mean, Eric came to us as a rescue, 4 months old, and even then I'd forgotten how hard it was with the sleepless nights and the constant attention and chewing things and the potty training, for want of a better term. It's hard work. It's really hard work, and you need to spend an awful lot of time and effort. If I didn't work from home, I wouldn't be having a dog. Full stop.
No.
But it's a lot of work.
I didn't when we lived in London, because I was out all day, and it was like, no, this is not fair. This is not fair. And but we had cats because cats are more adaptable.
Cats sort themselves out generally, don't they?
Well, to a degree, but I mean, all of ours were rescues, so they all came with issues which had to do with humans. And but at least they had their garden, they had their cat flap, and they had the house, and they relatively to puppies quite quick to catch on to kiss cat litters and things.
Yes, well, you have got that with a cat, haven't you? You can put the cat litter indoors, so if you do go out, you don't have to worry about it. Dogs don't tend to use cat litters.
No, it's quite a different thing for them, isn't it? Your house floor. I mean, nowadays they have puppy pads, but I mean, when I had dogs first, it was sort of like the old towels.
Yes,
because there were no puppy pads.
Yeah,
and there's another thing not to put down your toilet and your cesspit.
Today.
We seem to have got there. This all came from wild geese in autumn and robins singing winter songs, which is lovely. If a bit worrying that they're doing it in August. I used to sort of think of that as end of September. Time. But no, there's at least 4 robins in the garden because I saw them all yesterday.
Right.
And they're all singing at each other. And so like, this is my bit. This is my bit. Yeah. Oh, did you have a good flight over? Yeah. Because robins move. Robins migrate and things.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
They are quite territorial, aren't they? You don't often find they like their own little spaces, don't they?
They do, particularly when they've got kids to feed, because they also tend to have about 3 wives.
Okay.
But she also tends to have about 3 husbands.
Oh, well, that's only fair then. Yeah.
And it does seem to be that they organise it so that there should be plenty of food coming in, whatever happens.
Right.
And I imagine that's what it
little
must be
robin
about.
communes then.
Not really, because they won't live together. And I mean, if
Right.
2 start heading in, that's when you really get, and they fight. And
Right.
they really do fight.
Yeah.
But now it's more like, I'm here again. This is my patch for winter. And I think they have their patch, which is useful to them, has the stuff. They use our bird feeders. And so we've got 2 up now. So that I can sit and watch them it's my garden TV. I look through the front window, which is a nice view anyway. And I've got a bird feeder there, so we can look out at them and watch them. That's where I get my best videos from now.
Right.
Because I can just sit there and use the camera. Whereas I don't tend, not being a teenager, don't tend to have my camera beside me when I'm washing the dishes. So I know what will happen to it.
Yeah, I've got bird feeders set up on one side. I can see them from here. Got the different, the fat balls and the peanuts and the different seeds and things. But we tend to only really get sparrows, lots of sparrows, lots of starlings when we put the fat balls out. We have got a blackbird, pair blackbird. And other than stupid pigeons, bless them, we don't tend to get a lot of other little birds in. And I do put out a variety of stuff in the hope that they will come. But I don't know whether it's just we're too in the city. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, because we have them in London. And I mean, that's pretty in the city.
You couldn't get even more. Couldn't get
have you got any decent sized bushes or a tree near the bird feeder?
They're hung by there's a holly bush and I'm just looking at now, there's a holly, there's a mimosa, there's a pine tree. It's all hung up so that it's quite protected. Yeah,
because that's a big thing. If they've got to fly a long distance and then be exposed without anywhere to dive into, then they won't. So, don't know.
Yeah, I keep trying. I keep putting different things out. We'll see. Well, occasionally, I get quite excited. Oh, there's a chaffinch. Oh, there's a blue tit. It's like a rare occurrence. So they do come on occasion, but mostly it's sparrows. But I don't mind because I like sparrows. So
no, sparrows are lovely.
Yeah,
we've got must be 2nd or 3rd brood who've fledged. And they make a dive on the food. They've got about 3 feeding times a day, and all of a sudden, all of the sparrows decide to descend on. I mean, there's
all at once
peanuts. Well, there's peanuts and seeds and 2 trays of fat. I use the fat pellets.
Yes, I got some of those too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all of the sparrows descend on one of the fat pellet things. So you've got 15 or so sparrows on this thing about that size. And they also go, oh, what? Oh. You think, oh, get a grip, guys. Which they will.
In the garden too, because I have particularly this year noticed them on the roses eating the little aphids. And we've got a brick wall at the back. And I've noticed them even hanging on the back wall, obviously pecking at something. But I have noticed a lot less aphids this year. We don't use pesticides or anything, but I've noticed an awful lot less this year. But I've also noticed the birds particularly on the roses this year as well. So nature's doing its thing. It's doing its let's coexist thing.
Yeah. And if you've got ladybirds in the garden as well, you'll have even less aphids.
I don't see them very often. Again, if I see one, I get quite excited. We've got the spiders, of course. The spiders are starting to do the whole web so that you have to karate chop your way through the garden.
I had that in the bedroom the other morning, 3 or 4 mornings ago, and I sat up and I didn't see it. I mean, you sit up to this morning, and there was several strands of web from the ceiling down to one of the bedposts, and I just sat up into the middle of it,
straight into it,
and it was like, that was another sign, you know. Blimey, this is early again.
It's early, yes.
So
no, they do look pretty, the webs in the garden, but not when you walk straight into them.
When you didn't see them, and
no, that's not pleasant. And then you wonder where the spider is. If you've got web all over your face, where's the spider?
No, I must admit I didn't think about that. So if she did get in my hair, hopefully she got out again before I brushed it. You know, because I can't imagine that would have done her a lot of good.
I don't mind spiders at all, but you don't really want them on your face.
Well, I don't really like having them on me at all. I mean, even if it's on my clothes, because I'm terrified I'm going to squash them.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
You know, because you sort of, you move your elbows in like that, and there was a spider in here, and there isn't anymore. You know, there's an ex-spider. And I had a funny thing like this. It was Daddy Longlegs yesterday. I was out. I've got the seedlings for the winter salad, and they were ready to go out. So I was putting them out yesterday, and so it's like dig a hole, dibble a hole and plonk it in. And I saw this Daddy Longlegs sort of walking across the earth. And so I dibbled the hole, went to reach for the plant, and the damn Daddy Longlegs had tried to go down the hole. So I was there sort of catching it by a leg and saying, no, you want to be over there.
I must admit, they do freak me out a little bit, the Daddy Longlegs. I think it's from school days when we had the old 1970s school buildings that were all concrete, and the dark corners of the concrete used to be havens for Daddy Longlegs. I think it harks back to that.
They are. I mean, they're very leggy and wiggly as well. And this was. Do they both fly? I suppose they do. Anyway, this one was one who had obviously, because he got one wing.
Okay.
So he'd obviously done the mating flying bit and landed, and may not have had long to live anyway. But I thought, well, I don't really want to
bury him.
Bury you immediately under this plant. You know, go and have a little crawl about and find a nice plant to sit under and die, or whatever it is you want to do. And but it's like, really. People would think we were mad in the garden, wouldn't we?
Yeah. I have just thinking, there's a butterflies just gone past, but I haven't seen many butterflies this year. Normally we get quite a lot. No, I'm just thinking I haven't seen many this year at all.
No. What sort of a spring did we have?
Yeah.
So when they were all coming out and emerging, they were drowned and starved.
Yeah. It's all a knock-on effect, isn't it? You don't really think about it, but it all plays a part, doesn't it?
But that was it. I mean, I've seen 2 red admirals at once. Paul rushed in a couple of weeks back saying, I've seen 5 white cabbage whites.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of cabbage whites. I don't think I've seen any red admirals this year, and we normally do get them.
Yeah. And I've seen 2, I think it is, peacocks, and we normally get loads of those as well. At the first sort of sunny bit that we had, we get, because we're out in the country, we get a lot of wood fritillaries and meadow browns. And we did see quite a few of those earlier, but then not later. And normally I do, because I remembered that when we first came in August 2 years ago here, and I sort of going around going, I wonder what's here, you know, going for walks around.
Yeah.
And I saw that we got a lot of these sort of much more country butterflies.
Yeah.
And oh, this is great. You know, I haven't seen this many for a long time. And then we got them again last year, along with the peacocks and the admirals and painted ladies and all this sort of stuff. But this year, no. And I haven't seen one painted lady this year. And we didn't get any, I can't remember what they're called, the lovely sort of pale sulphur yellow butterflies you get at the early in the year.
Right, yeah.
And we had those, and we didn't have any this year.
Yeah.
So there's been many.
I hadn't really thought about it, but we did get a very random dragonfly a few weeks back.
Yes, we have too.
But we're nowhere near water, well, other than the ocean, but that's, you know, there's no ponds, there's no, unless, you know, neighbours somewhere, immediate neighbours don't have ponds. We've got a bird bath, but that's it. But this huge dragonfly, the size of my hand, flew into our conservatory, and I've never seen a dragonfly here. I mean, it was a bit of a mad panic to try and then
make sure it went out.
Shoot him out. But I don't know where he came from. It was quite random, completely random, actually.
Well, we've had some and seen them mating, so on our pond. So we should have the larvae again next year, which is good, but not many. And we've seen more than that, and it's sort of down to like about 3, you know, and you just think, oh, this isn't so good.
Yeah.
When I went out in early July, and I was having a sit out there, and a couple of butterflies came past, and I got really upset because I thought, this is July, I should be ducking out of the way.
Yes, yeah, it's. I hadn't occurred to me till just then that even in our tiny little garden, there's always, you know, them all flittering around. Haven't seen many at all this year.
We've got meadows, as you know, and long grass and nettles in one of the hedges particularly, and so I'm hoping that those that did make it through have found places to lay their eggs, and that if we have a better spring next year, they will come through. But no, I got really upset because I thought, you know, years and years and years ago, I read Silent Spring, and I've forgotten the name of the woman. She wrote about killing all the wildlife back in late 50s or early 60s. Her main thing at the time, must have been 50s, her thing at the time was DDT.
Right.
Because everybody was using DDT. But Rachel Carson. And but I thought of that, you know, with the butterflies. And I thought, well, no, it wasn't DDT. But you're getting there, girl. You know, this is not good.
No.
But
do you get frogs in your garden, in your pond?
Yes, there are at least 2, because we heard croaks in quick succession from each side of the pond. And since I don't think they were sort of beam me up, Scotty, I think it was 2. There are probably more, but we only heard the 2. This was back when it was still warm. And we would go and sit by the pond, and that was really nice.
Yeah, I do like frogs,
and it's you know, a frog. And we've got toads as well.
We did when we first moved in here 25 years ago, and it was just a undergrowth really. We did find a toad when we were digging out the garden. We found a toad in the garden, so it made me jump. I jumped about 6 feet in the air because I wasn't expecting it.
No.
But yeah, I like frogs and toads. Oh, there's a little white butterfly just gone past. Go on, keep it up.
Well, now, was this a small white or a green veined white? She says.
Oh, I don't know. It was a bit far away.
No, I know.
Yeah.
If they stop still, I can probably tell you.
Yeah.
But they don't half the time. So, I remember. Yes, we had 2 gatekeeper butterflies.
Oh, right.
2 weeks ago, which again we have had lots of before. And because I was with my friend, we were gardening, and they were actually near the gate. That is why they've got their name, because they often go into the undergrowth where there's an opening in a hedge or something like that, and they were actually near there. So, because Kim asked me, she said, "Why gatekeepers?" I said, She said, "You're joking." I said, "No, actually, I'm not." You see that I was pulling a leg.
Oh, we have an aeroplane just going over. It is an old aeroplane. We're near, not too far from Chichester Airfield, and they fly all the individual planes and all the old planes. You get some quite sort of World War II ones going over occasionally, which is quite fascinating.
Some of them are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? I haven't been to anything like that for a good few years now, but I do like them. I'll go and look at the old planes and see the old ones going on. Yeah, they're quite fascinating. Otherwise, we haven't. Well, we've got a small RAF station not very far away, so we get their damned helicopters.
We get the sea rescue ones, especially at night time in the dark. You get them.
Thwack, 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 thwack. Yeah. We get Chinooks come over. They're just so bloody noisy. They're ace helicopters, but they are so noisy. And we occasionally get transport planes come over. You can always tell because they're coming in fairly low, because it seems to take them several miles to get down enough to land. And noise is like, and when it's at night, and you just sort of got off to sleep and but otherwise it's autumn.
Yeah. So you're getting your veggies in, you're getting your salad bits and pieces in.
I only really eat salad and fruit, and I think we're about to be photobombed, if you don't mind. I can hear yowling. So
oh, and that's Eric.
I've got barking. Come on then.
Did you want to join in?
I do. If you're going to have a cat, we're going to have a dog. All right. But I don't know whether we're going to have a cat or not, but she's in the doorway looking at me piteously, like you shut me out. Come on then.
And Eric's barking at a pigeon in the garden, I think. All the other birds are fine. He leaves the other birds alone, but he's a bit upset when a pigeon comes in the garden. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know whether we're actually going to get a cat or not, but yeah. Oh yes, she's come in. Come on, come and say hello. No, he's not. She didn't really take any notice. I think she's just going to wander around. So all of a sudden there'll be a cat going across. Oh, so what else have you been up to?
Everything, actually. It's been chaos. I've just handed in a book manuscript, so that's gone for the first edit. We've got our house renovations are finally about to start, fingers crossed, in October, beginning of October, fingers crossed, relying on solicitors pulling their fingers out to get the inheritance side to pay the builders. So hopefully October. So we're packing, we're sorting, we're clearing out, getting ready for that. Daughter is getting married next year, so wedding
that's
dress.
a good long time away, so that's all right.
You have to plan so much in advance. Wedding dress was purchased this week or ordered this week. Then there's cake choosing and suits and invitations, and so it's all very chaotic and twirly here, along with all the other usual stuff, the work and the courses and the So today I'm actually having a day off. Today is I'm having a self-care day today. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Well, we're chattering about dog shit, so that's all right.
Reading. Yeah, but I don't want to read that because that's research. That's not relaxing. That's research.
No, you want a novel.
Yes. All right, fiction. Stick with fiction. I might do some of that coursework. No, that's still requiring your brain. You need. I'm a bit rubbish at this whole self-care, relaxing, taking a day out. So
I am too, but part of it is that you actually enjoy what you do.
Yes, yeah,
and so do I.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like it used to be when one went to an office or something,
No, that was did that for many years. No, thank you.
No,
not again.
It's not like that at all, and it's really. You sort of get, I wonder about that. And so, there you are, you're Googling it up or something. And we're just about to be photobombed. And come on then, come and do the photobombing. Yes, this way. That way. So, you see what I mean?
Typical cat fashion.
This is a cat. Black, which variety? Look, you come and say, look, come on. No, I'm not going to. Sod off. Right, okay. Fine, I got that. But no, I like what I do, and I get interested, and I'm doing quite well with the current novel. I think I'm just about to get some crit on it from a good person. And good professional writer and teacher, editor person. So that I would keep that going, and that's good, and I like it. Although all writing is such hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is it. And I'm thinking, I could do some writing of this, some bits of that. I think, no, I need to switch my brain off. That
is a good idea, though. Yeah.
Turn it off. And everything I keep thinking of requires brain power. So I am a bit rubbish at this relaxing thing.
But I think you do naturally need to turn it off and not think about it. And then when you come back to it, when you've finished your relaxing bit, boom, the ideas work.
Yeah, it's fresh eyes, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got more planting, and I need to mow today, so that's my relaxation.
Yes.
I shall go and garden, and I shall come in and get bright ideas.
Yeah.
And think, that's how I finish that. That's what I need to do there, sort of thing. And I must get on with Trevor's book as well. Which he started off talking about. He wanted environmental gardening,
right?
Which I like. I said yes, of course, that's fine. But I've had another chat with him, and which was really useful. And because he started off with a brief of sort of, I'm an ordinary Joe. I'd like to do my bit. I don't know very much. What can I do to help? And I've only got a back garden in the city, kind of thing.
Right.
And I thought, yep, okay, great brief. I know where I'm coming from there. And so I was thinking about it, and actually, I think his character, because I wrote to him and sort of said, how does ordinary Joe feel about this and that? A couple of important points, sort of thing. So about an hour or so later, I got ordinary Joe Ordinary here as a person. And I thought, great. And he got some, I feel about that. And this is how I feel about that, la, la, la. And it was really helpful. And Joe Ordinary has become one of the main, Joe Ordinary, talking to this ex-garden designer friend of his, has become how it's coming over.
Right, okay.
And I thought, yay, that seems to work.
That's good, isn't it? Because some people do like pottering about in the garden, but don't know a lot about it. But there are an awful lot of gardeners that don't perhaps know how to convert it to being eco-friendly or where even to start. So, yeah, that's good.
Well, it feels good so far. I'm going to see what he says about it when we get to me throwing some written work at him to have a look at. But there's that. But it's also, I thought, environmental gardening, environmental, is 5 syllables. We're getting into the sort of large fog index word kind of thing. And so, and I I'm doing all this, I'm being pushed into doing all this stuff on rewilding. So I thought, well, how about a title of Rewild Your Backyard?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It's much snappier.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I also wonder as well, does the word environmental, does that throw people off sometimes? Do you think it's perhaps quite a scary word in some cases?
Yeah. And I feel they're going to think that, there's some sort of huge government chit chat or COP in Glasgow or something, and that if you're not part of that, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I know. And so it's been coming up this past sort of week or 10 days. So Rewild Your Backyard. So it might end up with Rewild Your Backyard with Joe Ordinary. And if he likes it, then but the title is very much up to him, because he's much better at titles and selling things than I am. So but it's certainly coming along, and I've got a lot of words together, but I haven't quite got to sorting them. You know exactly what I mean. Yeah.
I actually find that the hardest part is putting things in an order that makes sense. Lots of stuff comes out, and then when you read it through, you think, is that in the right order? Does that make sense?
Or that would actually be better if I put it up here, kind of thing. That's editing, though. I mean, that always sort of happens.
Oh, I hate that part. I really hate that. I hate the editing, proofreading part. I find it terribly boring.
I know. It's absolute torture. It has to be done.
It's necessary. Oh, yes.
But it is torture. But I do plot non-fiction as well. Right. In a sense of, like you've got sort of basically a beginning, middle and end in a novel kind of thing. Yeah. You get the same sort of thing in a non-fiction. So you've got a beginning of sort of, why are we here? setting the picture of where you are, and you world building, as they call it. Yeah. And God. Anyway, and then there's sort of the action and 2 or 3 climaxes, and then there's the denouement of, right, well, we've done all that and here we are. Yeah. Sort of feel. But it's still moving all the middly bits around. Yes. Sort of like, I need to do this bit before that bit, and then it changes, because you find you need to talk about this and that and the other, and you think, actually, that's wrong now. I actually need to put this there and this here, kind of thing. But so that's sort of where I am. It's add more words 1 minute. Here's a section on this, here's a section on that. And then it's, shuffling them around. I think I should do tarot on it. Rewild Your Garden Tarot. I could bring out a whole new thing.
Is this for one of the series? The movie series?
Yeah. It's for his. What do we call it? It's like your cookery one and my other gardening one.
That's Practically Pagan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not quite. I think it's not. I think it's not Practically Pagan, but it's sort of like that.
Co-spirit type series.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing.
Yeah.
But sort of for very ordinary type stuff, not the more specialist stuff that we've done.
Because you've got a Practically Pagan one coming out as well, haven't you?
November, yes.
That's a gardening one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Practically Pagan. Can't remember gardening. I can't remember what it is.
I think that's what it's called, isn't it? It's just called.
I think it is.
Gardening.
Yeah. And actually, if I go and have a minor hunt for 2 minutes, and I can do screen share on here, can't I?
You can. That's out November, did you say?
I think so, but we'll find out in a minute, because I'm just about to get it, and it'll be on here.
It's a strange feeling because I have just handed in one manuscript to Llewellyn, and it's that kind of, you get a kind of adrift feeling for a bit. Like you do. Yeah. Now, what do I do now? Do I wait for the edits to come back, or do I start the next one, or do I just tread water for a bit? Yeah, it's a strange feeling.
It is. And when I was doing my psychology, my tutor there, she was a psychotherapist, psychologist for authors with the Society of Authors.
Oh, okay.
And she used to call it post-parturition.
Yeah, that's where I am now.
It bloody is, isn't it? You know, you've just done something.
Yeah.
And you sort of can't, if you see what I mean. You haven't got anything else to do. Yeah.
Oh, I have. I've got 5 other contracts, and I have no idea which one to start next, to be honest. So that needs some thinking about. But yeah, it's kind of a weird in-betweeny stage.
Which I think Barbara was absolutely right, because it is you've had the baby, and you know everybody's been thrilled, and now it's sort of like ugh.
Yeah.
And you haven't actually got the energy together yet to get on to the next project.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Yes.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, you're right, girl. You're right. Now I've actually got it up, so can I share the screen?
Yeah, too.
I can share the screen. No, I have to work this out, girl. We don't do this.
Button at the bottom, right at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, but I haven't got it right yet.
Yeah.
I
very rarely do it, so I forget how it's done.
So yeah, it's a bit weird compared to Zoom, because it's sort of like one thing. This might be able to. This might get it. It's not one thing. I mean, you stupid Chrome tab. That's what I want. No? Yes? Do I? Okay, let's see what happens when I do this. You see this? Have we got it?
We've got a screen come up. There we go.
There we go. This is actually it. Practically Pagan, an alternative guide to gardening. And as far as I know, it's only an ebook, but it might be. No, it is. It is. It's paperback as well. It is paperback as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you are, people. And that's November. But I think, let me just check back on this. In fact, let's unshare the screen while I do the check back. Stop screen share.
There's some nice books in the series, isn't it? And obviously, there's my cooking one, but there's Magical Living, there's Eco Living as well, I think.
I can't remember. I know
Health and Wellbeing as well. It's quite
nice. There is. Yeah.
And actually, if anybody subscribes to Pagan Dawn magazine, the next issue will have a Practically Pagan section in it with articles from all of the Practically Pagan authors. So that's quite exciting.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. So we've got in with Pagan Dawn, which is really great.
Yeah.
so it's lovely, and you should be able to find out quite a lot about this. Now I can't see it's saying you can order it now.
You can probably pre-order, can't you, usually before it?
Looks like it. 29th of October.
Oh, there you go.
There you are. So it's ready for Samhain.
Excellent.
Ready for Samhain, people, and there you go with that. So that should be quite fun. But I'm not doing it like that. That was definitely, for people who are a bit into paganism, and they have their own pagan path. And this is one way of how to add gardening in.
Right.
And that's what that one's about.
Yeah.
But the other one, which may well be rewild your backyard.
I like that. I
do. I better suggest it to Trevor immediately, actually, or very nearly immediately, and see what he says. That is not going to be. It's going to be much less pushed towards pagans.
Mm-hmm.
It's pushed to any,
anyone,
literally Joe Ordinary.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a different slant and a different way. And about the rewilding thing. Oh, I haven't told you. And have you seen? You know Anna Franklin, I'm sure.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's got me doing a rewilding talk on the Mercian gathering, the online Mercian gathering.
Sure. I did see. That's really good, isn't it? Excellent.
Yeah, that's Saturday morning.
This coming weekend.
Good God, I think it might be. Well, that's just sorted out my afternoon. Well, I've got the usual sort of notes and everything like that. Yeah. It's like, which bits do you want to focus on for this?
That's always the bit I struggle with when I'm doing a talk, because usually the subject is so huge, you have to decide which bits to pick out.
Mm-hmm. And which way are you going in from this version of it? So I do need to sort that out, which I might actually do after tea this evening. Because I do need to mow that grass.
Yes.
Do have some more little plants to plant. So I give myself time off. We've put it into the cauldron in here now. So if I go off and garden, then it'll all come out perfectly pat this evening.
It percolates while you're gardening.
Yeah, it can percolate, and it will come out absolutely perfect instantaneously, sort of thing. So yeah, I've got a feeling it is this weekend, because I think she's decided to do it for bank holiday weekend.
Of course, it's a bank holiday this weekend, isn't it? Yes.
Which is really annoying to me, because we're going to get a bit of sun in a day or two. And yesterday I couldn't go, but I went into Stretton because to do things, and came back, and normally turn right to come home. But if I went straight on up that road, I'd be at one of my favourite places on the Long Mynd, and it was there going, pull. I can't. I've absolutely got to go home and do some stuff. So it's, well, come as soon as it's sunny. So I said yes, and then I sort of realised.
Bank holiday. Yep.
So I don't think I'm going to actually be able to seriously get up there until next
the ocean week. Does that to me, because we are only 5 minutes from it. But during the summer, on a weekend, nope. I'm not heading down. Well, apart from the fact you'd never park. No, not going. No. I prefer to go in the months when it's not summer.
I haven't been up onto the Mynd for a month, and so it's getting a bit sort of like scratchy, and that I need to go.
Places do, don't they? They do call you. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like, you haven't been to see me for ages. Come on. And there's a beautiful big. It's called Wild Pool, Wild Pool, which is all one word. And up there, and I love it up there. And there's always quite a lot of different water birds up. And then there's 2 or 3 lovely walks that lead directly off it. And that was really pulling yesterday. So, but I'm not going up there on bank holiday weekend.
No.
You won't be able to move. It's all single track road anyway, so you won't be able to move, and nobody else can back, of course. So, you drive forwards 10 yards and then you've got to back for a quarter of a mile because the person can't get past you.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, not doing that.
Well, I'm off to the Royal City of Bath next month, which is another place that calls me. It is probably one of my very favourite cities, I think. Probably my favourite city. The girls and I are going on a Roman baths pilgrimage.
Are you after the Romans or the bath?
We're after Sulis, really. Sulis is our she's been with me. She's been shouting and kicking my butt for the last few months, for which I am eternally grateful. But yeah, we're going to go on a bit of a pilgrimage to Bath. But I do love it. It's such a beautiful city.
It's really well done. The one thing the Georgians did really quite well was that.
Yes, the architecture of it all.
The architecture's stunning, but there's lots of nice shops and cafes and everything, as well as
the history.
Is it 2 or 3 baths there are? There's 3, isn't it?
I think it's 3. Yes, I've been reading a book about it actually. Jenny, I've been several times before, but doing a bit of reading. And you'll be very pleased to know I'm going to Boscastle next year. I have been to Boscastle before. We've stopped there on the way to other places. But husband and I are going for a few days to Boscastle next year to actually stay in Boscastle. Yeah. Which, for anyone that doesn't know, is in Cornwall. And that's a beautiful part of the country. Yeah.
Up the hill and down the hill from Tintagel.
Yes, it's not far, is it?
About 10-15 minutes from Tintagel. Where are you staying?
Riverside Hotel.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And they've got a very nice restaurant there as well.
Yeah, I'm following them on Facebook and they keep putting up pictures of what they're serving. Usually when you're hungry.
It's pretty yummy in there, and it's very nice, and you are absolutely bang in the centre of it.
Yes, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, and you're right by the river.
Yeah.
Which I think will be all right. That's the one that flooded.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And
it's not till next year. Be fine.
No, it's lovely. And the people in the Witchcraft Museum are gorgeous. They're really nice.
Yes.
And do you...
it's nice to be getting out and about, actually, isn't it? It's nice to be planning stuff again.
Do you... Do you know the Mary Lloyd people there and the Boscastle, the All Hallows people?
No, I don't. I don't. I know you've talked about it before. So I've literally, we've been through Boscastle, stopped on occasions, but I don't know it all Hallows very well at all. So it'd be interesting to investigate it all.
Well, I'll give you Cassandra's page, Facebook and link and all that, and contact her as a fellow witch and say you're going to be down and could you come over, because she and Letitia are fabulous and they're really nice people, and they'll be able to tell you a lot about what's going on down there, and they'll probably give you a cup of tea. They're the sort of people who give you a cup of tea. That sort of witch. Yeah. And I told you tonight that she's as far as I know, she's still the only person who fills in her tax return, and her occupation is a village witch. Really?
I do. Really yes, my tax return goes in as a kitchen witch.
That'll do. Well, hey, use that. So say from Tax return kitchen witch to tax return village witch. I'm going to be down then. Any chance you'd be around?
Yes, you pay my taxes, people.
Ditto. But no, because that'd be fun, and she's ever such a nice person.
I have seen the All Hallows on Facebook. Yes, I have seen the name. But Cornwall, I love Cornwall. Cornwall's another magical place too.
Oh, and the other thing you could possibly plan in is a visit with wolves.
With it? Oh, yeah, is that down there?
Yeah, it's about it's near Lostwithiel, so it's what, 3/4 of an hour, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour away. And Eric will never speak to you again.
Come home smelling of wolves. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, look back at one of our previous Shooting the Wild Witch Breeze chats where Ellen went to actually visit with wolves. It was.
I'll try and remember to put up pictures again and the link to that, because they've got a Facebook page too, and the link to them, because that is an experience.
Yes, yeah, it looked amazing. It sounded amazing.
It's like going to a really good falconry and learning from somebody who absolutely lives with their birds and that sort of thing.
I bet they don't use poo bags for wolves.
Doesn't commonly take his wolves out for walks
along the pavement.
No. I cannot imagine what any of those wolves would do if you put a collar on them. It would be like, what?
Yes. I don't think they'd get very far with them.
No, because the wolves are completely their own person, and they work with you on an equalized basis.
Yes. And as they should, absolutely. Indeed. Yeah.
They've just got 3 or 4 new Wolf Pups.
Oh, lovely.
Pups. And one of them, it's nearly breaking my heart. One of them is black with a bit of a white stripe on his chest, and he looks just like my old German Shepherd dog used to.
Oh, wow.
And he was so wolfy. And this one is, and so they got pick up on him yesterday, and so I put a comment into Kim, that's Sean's wife, and sort of said, next time I come down, you better search the car, because I'm going to take you away with me. And so so there's loads to do down there. There's a lovely otter sanctuary too.
Oh, I think
That's not very far from Boss Castle.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and all sorts of things. So it's just that, I mean, you can just get lost. Oh, you've got to go, if you're going there, you've got to go to Lady's Window. You've got to go for a walk to Lady's Window.
Okay.
I forbid you to return home without having gone there. I shall put a force field up on all the exits from Cornwall that you cannot get through unless you've been there.
Noted.
But, you will love it. Yeah, you will. That's possibly one of the best bits there. And you've got to go up to Necton's Cave, because that's only round the corner.
Yes, we've done that before. It is beautiful. Yeah.
So,
well, as my neighbour has just started mowing their lawn, I think that's a sign that
I think it's definitely that I need to mow my lawn. Right, I'm going out with a lawnmower. Well, ta-ra, everybody. Ta-ra, Rachel. And see you in a couple of weeks then.
Yes, take care.
And
bye now.
Bye.